Good afternoon. We are members of a teachers group called Set Mestres. These groups belong to Pla de Formació de Zona in CRP in Vallès Occidental, and Set Mestres members are teachers from primary and nursery state school. We usually have meetings once a month, and when we met, we talk, debate, reflect about different aspects of methodology, assessment. We also prepare some proposals to work at the school in the levels we work. Of course, you are invited to join us. Today, we are going to show you one of them. To us, this is an example of competence work task to pupils. We usually start every activity with a problem question to generate a context like this. Have you ever thought about what a sailor's wife said to him before starting the famous Columbus trip? Now we leave a few minutes to talk about this question with your partner. A very short time.
What did you bring? Make sure you bring it.
Okay. Probably a lot of answers you found generated more questions to you. The same happens to pupils. We are going to show you some of the questions our pupils generated in this activity. Perhaps some of them are the same ones you are talking about before. What did people travel in 15th century? What kind of things did they need to organize a trip? How long did the trip used to be? Did they use something to preserve food during a trip? What did they use to find their way around? What reasons did Columbus have to travel west? How did he get the money to make his trip? What kind of ship did he need to do his trip? What differences did he find in the New World? And how would it be doing the same trip nowadays? To develop the activity, we want our pupils to do an active research, a practical work, and to get involved in discussion and debate to solve the problem. With these questions, we have a lot of topics that pupils can investigate and develop to build their learning.
So before to start working, we are going to speak something about methodology, because teachers, because teachers and pupils together decide which was the final product they have to elaborate. This shows us that what they have learned during the activity. Then we also organize them in groups. To us, Set Mestres recommend that pupils must work in groups. To us, a cooperative learning is a form of active learning where students work together to achieve a goal. We set a question to investigate to each group. This means that we can prepare with each group a set of things to follow in order to arrive at a conclusion. Then we also set the time to do it. We have to fix how many sessions they have to do their task. And finally, also with pupils, we set how to evaluate. We talk with pupils about how the evaluation will be, although the development of the activity gives the evaluation in itself. With pupils, the evaluation usually has two parts. One is the self-evaluation, where members of group say their opinion about the work they did, how they felt doing it, how was the group working, and how they solved the problems working as a group. In the other part, the evaluation of their colleagues. Using the set prepared before, each pupil can say if the group has worked as the proposal. Also, they can say if they understand the task and that the group has presented, and their opinions about the results of the work group. In our group semesters, we believe that our task as teachers is generate good questions. To us, a good question generates context, and is the context what helps us to motivate our pupils and also their learning. We usually use a scientist method, and this means first, pupils understand the problem, then they collect information from their experience, books or internet, and finally they try to find a possible solution that they have to show to the rest. This is the final product. To do this, we use the technology in class. To our group is also important the role of technology. In our classes, the access of technology is nowadays the best way to access information. And of course, pupils need to know how to use internet, the different navigators and the websites they can visit to find information. They sailing the internet, they can learn how to select what is important and what is not. Sailing the internet is very important nowadays because it has changed the approach to information, the way to teach, and of course, the way to learn. This doesn't mean we forgot that pupils can use books or ask other people for information. We use books in class, but the amount of possibilities that internet generates is something that we can't forget. As teachers, we can know how technology changes our task, and we would take profit of this. Keeping in mind, we have to teach the pupils to use internet with responsibility. When a computer appears into a class, all starts changing. The more computers appear in a class, better to everybody. Now, ICT is the best way to teach and for pupils to learn, because they give us the opportunity to access the information by different sources. Here in Catalonia, there was a project to get every pupil to work with a computer, and this is good, although we, semesters, think that pupils learn how to work together as a group with computers. Teachers should change seriously their way to work in class. We can be more useful as a guide or facilitator of pupils' learning than only teaching them content. We have to help pupils organize thoughts, procedures, and to be confident with their answers. Semesters members believe it's necessary to change the way to teach at school, and as this demo shows it. Teachers must learn to give space and time to pupils without forget a reflection about the pupils' learning. We began with a question problem, which was as open as possible in order to generate a context that facilitates a variety of points of view, and pupils can study through different subjects. Moreover, we help pupils in the cooperative work group and encourage them to solve the work group problems that could appear. We teach them some tools about the use of computers and the importance of the internet in their learning. Working with computers makes pupils to improve, facilitate the task to some pupils, and give them the same opportunities to other pupils. Pupils can write and rewrite their task when they consider it's necessary before to show their final product. Finally, evaluation. Pupils can tell their opinion about the task that they have done and know the opinion of their colleagues. This generates the feedback which is necessary to improve in their learning. In fact, they seem to be more interested in their learning. So this could be the conclusion of our demo. The work of competence gives to pupils the empowering to their learning. And finally, this is our web page and our mail if you want to be in touch. And thank you much for your attention.
Thank you, Antonia. Sorry, thank you, Antonia and Alba, for the presentation. Is there any question? No? Yes, Albert?
I just would like to ask that you are not, so I don't know how many people are in your group.
I think there are 8 or 9. 10.
10, but not all of 10 are from the same school.
No.
So you are coming from different schools. This is quite particular. I mean, that this is not very usual that, at least in our context, that people from different schools are collaborating all together in developing new teaching methods or activities or so on. So my question is, which made of all of you to create or to join this group, and why?
Well, the beginning of the group, do you mean? Okay, the beginning of the group was when 3 or 4 people of the group nowadays, they working together in the same school, and we try to change things. This is what we start doing as a group, and the only way to do it is to find the place to meet with other teachers, and this was the CRP in the Vallès Occidental give us the opportunity to make together, to have meetings, and to start speaking about different proposals for change teaching. This is what, I don't know if this is a good answer for you, but this is what.
Yeah, then if you are working with other teachers too, do you know more or less how many teachers have been benefit from your activities, and they are also implementing this kind of activities in other schools?
We are not idea at the moment. We know that in our web page there are lots of visitings, but we are developing at the moment new proposals, other kind of proposals, because this is one of them, and we have translated a little bit, of course. But there are others related with maths or related with science or related with different things. So this is what we are doing. Just trying to develop different activities or different ways to teach, because in fact it's change methodology.
Right, thank you.
Well, thank you, because this is an example of how collaboration between institutions, with other partners, it can have a snowball effect, no, and really spread.
Yeah, we tried.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Very interesting presentation. I'm particularly pleased to see a starting point for this sort of inquiry, which starts with pupil or student questioning, because so often as a teacher I saw what I used to describe as the monastic approach to doing project work, which is to find as many sources as possible, copy it all down onto bits of paper, staple it together and hand it in as your project. And of course that's been replaced in the internet age by cut and paste, which does just the same but much easier. And half the time the students have not even read what they've done. So I see this as a starting point. I wondered if you could say a little bit more about the processes that happen after that. Do you have processes, for example, for students to track their work, to reevaluate their questions, and to get feedback from teachers?
I think we try to do it. The idea is in schools, in state schools, we haven't got so much time to do these kind of activities. So this is important, the time, and we fix how many sessions we've got to do it. And the idea is that in this way, the teacher can go in each group looking what they are developing in their learning. So probably they have the time to rewrite, to change what they are doing.
Okay.
I think, I don't know if I answer you, but...
Okay. I mean, what you're describing looks a little bit to me like something that's called the research cycle. Jamie McKenzie, who produces the website where I got the cartoon from the turkey and the computer from, has produced a model which looks very similar to what you're doing. It'd be worth having a look at that. Website's called From Now On, and the process is called the research cycle. You might get some ideas from that as well.
I don't understand.
I'll speak to you afterwards.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I understand now. Yeah, sorry.
Well, thank you very much. We could continue discussing, but we have to move on to the next presentation. Thanks a lot.